What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here, bringing your latest in your Brooklyn Nets news. As you can see, I'm healthy. Woo! NetsBoy no longer sick. Yay! Yeah, I actually had the flu. Went to the doctor. Got flu tested. If you ever got tested for the flu, it totally sucks. They take like the swab thing and they shove it up your nose, and it feels like something's crawling into your nose, like a bug or something. But anyway, I got tested for the flu. Inside the point, I had the flu. I'm better. I was sick for actually a little over about a week. I started feeling symptoms Monday, and today's my first basically full day better. So I'm happy to say NetsBoy is back and healthy and ready to yell more about the Nets. It's currently February 12th. The Nets are coming off of the last 3 games since my last video. They had a very solid win over the Spurs, which the Spurs did not play Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, Boris Diaw. I think that was it. So they didn't have really their real team. It wasn't really the Spurs. It was like the Spurs, D-League team. But they still did really well, the Nets. They played very well that game, and they won. They should have won that game, and they didn't win that game. So I'm thinking, okay, the Nets look good. But then they played the Pistons, and, the biggest problem with this team has been their ability to rebound. And they just got destroyed on the boards against the Pistons. And they lost, which did not shock me. The Pistons are just one of those teams that I feel like the Nets are really going to struggle with this season. It has to do with the fact that they can't rebound. Lopez, first of all, wasn't even that great of a rebounder, but he was underrated when it came to getting rebounds because he was very good at boxing out. When a ball went up, Lopez was a very good player at boxing out, their best rebounder, and allowed the power forward, whether it was Reggie Evans or last year Chris Humphries or this year Kevin Garnett, to get the board because Lopez was good at boxing out. That was the truth about Lopez. He wasn't the greatest guy at getting the rebounds, but he could play people out. So the Nets really struggle, though, without him. They have no size, and they really get beat up by teams with really big centers and good size, like the Pistons do with Monroe, Drummond, and Josh Smith. That front court, to me, is one of the best front courts when it comes to size and athleticism. And so the Nets lost that game. Didn't shock me. But they brought it back, followed that up, though, with a great win over the Pelicans. Mason Plumlee had a career game, including some great alley-oop dunks and all this great stuff. That was great. All was great. So the Nets went 2-1, like I thought they would. Just they didn't win. They didn't lose the game that I thought they would lose. But the frustrating thing is they could have gone 3-0 if they could just have played a little bit. If they could just get some rebounds. But whatever. So the Nets are currently right where they've basically been in the 7th seed, right or hanging around, a couple games under 500. Whatever. But the thing is, sorry, I got distracted. NetsDog is here. NetsDog, what are you doing? I don't know if you can see NetsDog. Hello, it's NetsDog. Hello, NetsDog. NetsDog, who's your favorite Net? Who's your favorite Net? No, don't lick the camera. Just say who the favorite Net is. Woof, woof, Teletovich. Oh, NetsDog's favorite Net is Mirza Teletovich. Good choice, NetsDog. Good choice. His real name is actually Buddy, by the way. He's not NetsDog, but that's okay. Buddy, why don't you go back to your bed? Okay, you can just stay there. So yeah, NetsDog. I got off track. His favorite player is Teletovich because Teletovich is great. So the Nets need to continue this good play here. They got 2 games before the All-Star break. They got the Raptors and then they got the not the Raptors. They got the Bobcats and they got the Bulls. Both winnable games. The way I look at it, they should be able to win both those games. They got to keep on trucking and keep this pace up. There's 2.5 back of the Raptors. They've just got to keep on going. And they've got to play well, and they got to play consistent. Which brings me now to some rumors I've been reading about the Nets. first of all, the trade deadline is about a week and a half away. The Nets will probably not make a single move this trade deadline. It just won't. Simple as that. The team's playing too well now, and I don't think they're going to ruin the chemistry. I talked about this in one of my older videos. But there's some rumors speculating that the Nets will trade Brook Lopez this offseason to try to get some draft picks and some players to maybe complement who they got now and to build for the future. My response to that is, why? You're going to give up on Lopez because he has a second foot injury? The guy's a 25-year-old all-star center. What? Why would the and Billy King has said he's not trading Lopez, though he also said that if a offer was presented that he felt was fair value, he would trade Brook Lopez. But then again, the Nets, fair value for Lopez is ridiculous. Like, they would need to get a current all-star young player and at least 2 first-round draft picks in this upcoming draft to even remotely justify them trading Lopez. It just doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, I think that the idea is if they're in win-now mode, Lopez isn't playing the rest of the season. Pierce is most likely not going to be with the Nets next year because he's a free agent at the end of this year, and I don't think he's re-signing. Garnett is on the downside of his career. The idea is this is their 1 year to win it, and they got to make some changes. So maybe they should trade him because they could probably get something good for him in the future, and they could move on from there. I think that's the idea. The idea is you trade Lopez, get some solid veterans, some solid players built around that built around the team they have now. That next season, whether you win a championship or you're not, you're going to lose Pierce. Garnett's probably going to retire soon. Now you can hopefully bring in some draft picks with that trade you can build around and build the team back up. I still think it's dumb. I think you continue to try to build this team around Darren Williams and Brook Lopez next season. Lopez, I still think he's going to come back and be really healthy and be just as good as he was this season. He had that surgery on his foot. They had that thing where they moved the bone in his foot to put less pressure. I think he should be fine. I just don't think you give up on a 25-year-old center after his second injury. Maybe the third one, you start thinking about it. If he comes back next season and he injures the same exact foot, okay, then you got reason to maybe try to move him because maybe you're just, what's going to happen. But the idea is this is where he has value. He has value right now because people want him. People think he is a top 5 center in the league, and yes, he's hurt. People think that next season he could be a huge piece to the puzzle. Look at a team like the 76ers. If they could make a trade for Lopez and really keep Michael Carter-Williams, and that's it, and then maybe they draft like Andrew Wiggins as a small forward or something, they could do pretty well with a core team built around Lopez, who'll be 25, Carter-Williams, and Wiggins, and any other piece of the puzzle they can get. That's understandable. I understand teams maybe wanting to trade for Lopez. I just wouldn't understand the Nets trading him. So I think that's dumb. I don't see Billy King doing that. I think the idea is that Lopez is going to be a key into their future, and I just don't see it happening. That being said, I am still pro NetsBoy. NetsDog, what are you doing? You just went out, NetsDog. Get back to your bed. But I think that you keep on making me forget what I'm trying to say. Damn it, NetsDog. I think that the Nets. I'm still pro the Nets trading Paul Pierce. I am still pro that because Paul Pierce frustrates me too much. I really am pro that. I'm pro trading him for. I'm pro just trading him for a draft pick or 2 in this draft. No player. Because I feel like the team is still deep enough and still good enough that they could win without Paul Pierce. Not saying that I want him to get traded. Let's not get carried away. I don't want him to get traded. But I feel like it might help the Nets overall if they traded him for a complimentary player and a draft pick. Or, of course, I like the idea of them trading him for Zach Randolph. And then the Nets building around Lopez, Zach Randolph front court next season with Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, and whoever else is the small forward, whatever they can plug in there next season. Because I think Garnett's going to leave. You remember those videos? Remember that video I had? I said that I like that trade. I still do like that. But overall, the Nets are probably not going to make any moves. They're going to stick with this team. This team has to continue to play tough, play consistent. They're still capable of winning about 45 games, which I think they can do, but they got to continue to play well. And that's what I'm hoping for. So, like I said, the next few games before the All-Star break, they got against the Bobcats. NetsDog! I've got to wrap this video up. Apparently, NetsDog needs to go out. They got to play Bobcats. It's a game I definitely think they can win. And then they got the Bulls. It's going to be a tough one, but another one I think they could win. If they can win these 2 games, that would put them, I think, 1 game under 500 going to the All-Star break. That's exactly where they need to be. 1 or 2 games under 500. I think they're 22 and 26. So it would make them 2 games under. But still, right where they need to be. If they can do that, they can win the win the Atlantic Division and go on and maybe make a run in the playoffs. But they got to play consistent. Darren Williams needs to continue to raise his game. He's starting to pick it up a little bit. Joe Johnson needs to be an all-star like he's been, that he is now. And Garnett and everybody just needs to play really well. So we'll keep my fingers crossed. My next video will be next week. We'll be right about the All-Star game. And I'll probably talk about the All-Star game. I'll probably be after the All-Star game. Would you mind? I'm trying to finish the video! Silly NetsDog. But yeah, my next video will probably be after the All-Star game. It might be before. It depends on what happens, so just keep a lookout for it. But until then, this is NetsBoy taking NetsDog out and signing off.